Well, the backlash against Olympic hammer thrower Gwen Berry, it continues. Days after she turned her back to the flag while the national anthem was being played at the medal ceremony for her event during the Olympic trial. Now, as you may have seen, she tried to explain her actions in an interview. Take a listen.
I never said that I hated the country. Never said that. All I said was I respect my people enough to not stand or acknowledge something that disrespects them. I love my people, point blank, period.
Well, that's interesting. But the bigger question that I think a lot of people have been asking is, should she be allowed to represent the United States in the Olympics? Well, joining us now is the host of the David Harris Jr. show and podcast, David Harris Jr. David, good to see you.
Good to see you guys. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, David, I'm excited to talk to you about this because Berry originally said that this was a setup. She thought it was a setup that they played the national anthem when she was on the podium. And then she went on to say that she felt disrespected. I mean, the fact that she thinks this is about her is astonishing. But where are we in the world when athletes are making this all about themselves? You know, when I think about the Olympics, what makes it so unique is that you have the best athletes in our country going to represent America, and other countries obviously doing the same. But the fact that she thinks she's being disrespected by that, and she went on to say in that interview we played that I represent my people. This feels, if I ever said that, I'm going to represent my people, there would be outcry. How is she getting away with this?
Yeah, she's getting away with it because somewhere along the line, she began to believe the lie that her identity was in her skin color. The CRT pushes that. Black Lives Matter, the organization, has pushed that. It's racist inherently. It's racist in nature. And her identity should not be consumed with or categorized solely by the color of her skin. We are so much more than the color of our skin. The color of our skin really represents, if 1% of who we are, barely 1% of who we are. It doesn't make up what we've had to go through as an individual person. You know, Gwen has had the ability to spend as much time as she's needed to afford herself to be able to compete at the Olympic level. Where did skin color come into play in any of those facets of her life? So it's pretty disheartening that somebody that's literally worked her butt off, I'm sure, to get to the place where she could represent us on the global stage, then has an issue with the American flag, the anthem, because of her people. She should be representing all of us Americans, not just the ones that look like her in skin color. It's unfortunate that it's happening in our country, but it's why I'm wearing my shirt, Dare to Stand Against Critical Race Theory. It's an indoctrination of trying to teach people to be racist against others based on their skin color. It's a victimhood mentality. It's racist. It's evil in my book. And somewhere along the line, she fell aside. And I've seen pictures of her where she actually was sharing and showing the American flag, proudly holding it up with USA on her front and wearing a kit that was red, white, and blue. Somewhere along the line, Gwen lost her way and believed a lie.
Well, it's interesting, David, because she makes reference to the third stanza of the national anthem that, frankly, I think she takes out of context. Let me play this for you.
If you know your history, you know the full song of the national anthem. The third paragraph speaks to slaves in America, our blood being slain and pilfered all over the floor. Mm-hmm. It's disrespectful, and it does not speak for Black Americans. It's obvious. There's no question.
I mean, just so we're clear, David, they don't play or sing the third stanza. Plus, the flag is on the uniform. I mean, I feel like this was somebody who looked at an opportunity to make a statement rather than, you know, it's almost like she went in thinking, how can I make a statement using this third stanza that no one even probably knows exists or definitely doesn't sing?
Well, and the fact that she's also sponsored by Color of Change, which is a very leftist organization, they're all for defunding the police. Again, unfortunately, too many Americans have bought into this lie that our country's racist, that there's systemic racism in the country. If there was, she'd have no way that she'd ever be able to put in the kind of time and effort and work that's necessary to even get to the point where she could then compete on the world stage to represent America. The lie in itself is evil. We've got to remember that we are in a battle between good and evil in this country, in our world, and that spiritually lies will take root in people's hearts if they have issues that they haven't dealt with themselves. I don't know what she hasn't dealt with. I'm praying for her. I hope she wakes up. She could have been somebody that said, you know what, I'm going to put all this race baiting crap, all this narrative and division to rest. I'm going to proudly stand up and support the country that has given me and afforded me the ability and the time necessary to put into my craft in such a way that I've been able to represent us on the world stage. I wish and I hope and I believe that there will be others, but she could have been one of the greats remembered in that way. Instead, she's remembered for somebody that literally, in my opinion, sold out to America and sold out to the lie.
Jen Psaki was asked about Biden's viewpoint of Berry this week. Here's what she had to say.
I know he's incredibly proud to be an American and has great respect for the anthem and all that it represents. Part of that pride in our country means recognizing there are moments where we as a country haven't lived up to our highest ideals. And it means respecting the right of people granted to them in the Constitution to peacefully protest.
Why can't the president stand up for patriotism? Obviously, anyone can protest, but when you're a part of Team USA and you're wearing the uniform, should we put up with that?
Because he's Obama 2.0. I mean, nobody can deny the fact that he's an absolute puppet. Again, in my opinion, it's unfortunate that somebody with the mental degeneration that he's dealing with, the mental issues, using cue cards, can't hardly get through a speech without a teleprompter, even with a teleprompter. It's unfortunate that his family put him through this, that the DNC has put him through this. But, friends, it's Obama 2.0. Obama led and began the race division in our country when he was in office. He was honoring Black Lives Matter. He put down police officers. He wasn't telling the truth to the American people. And that was the beginning of the real race division issues that have grown in our country over the last several years. You know, growing up in this country and mostly predominantly Northern California, very white area, I've dealt with very small issues of racism, but I've dealt with it more so from people on the left because of my political beliefs over the last 5 years than I ever had in my life. And I really believe that Obama was he led that charge, and Biden is just continuing the charge. They need division. They need the chaos, divide and conquer. And I truly believe that's what they're trying to do at a racial level in this country. He's trying to divide us so that we'll conquer ourselves. And then meanwhile, big government can take over and come in and try to save the day through socialism, which is another huge lie in itself.
David, thanks for being here. Appreciate what you're doing to focus on treating people for the content of their character, not the color of their skin. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, where real news for real people.